Morning, Chris. You know, the key question in this case is who hired Dr. Conrad Murray, but for the past 2 days in court, all eyes have been on Katherine Jackson. Michael Jackson's mother endured a second day of confrontational questioning from attorneys for AEG Live. Defense attorney Marvin Putnam displayed a letter signed by Katherine Jackson and some of Jackson's siblings calling a 2007 magazine report about Michael Jackson's prescription drug abuse a lie. Putnam asked Mrs. Jackson, was it a lie at the time to say your son had a problem with prescription drugs? She responded, yes, because I didn't know he had a problem. But earlier, Katherine Jackson admitted attending an attempted family intervention at Michael Jackson's Neverland estate 5 years earlier.
She's now looking to blame someone else for the very things that she and her family knew, and that's why those questions were asked.
The Jackson family matriarch has appeared confused, tired, and irritated on the stand.
Well, I think she, for being as old as she is, 83 years old, I think she did a great job trying to answer the questions. She didn't remember everything, but I think it was clear what happened.
AEG Live, which promoted what was to be Jackson's big comeback concert series, is trying to show there was no way it could have prevented Michael Jackson's drug overdose death when even his own family couldn't. The trial has been filled with dramatic moments, including intimate home videos of Jackson and his children.
I'm Daddy, baby, and I love my daddy.
And testimony from Paris Jackson, who's recovering from a suicide attempt. This aggressive questioning of Katherine Jackson could prove risky for AEG Live. Even though they have been able to point out some inconsistencies in her testimony, jurors see her every day needing help getting on and off the witness stand. And so that could provide some sympathy for her and could backfire on the defense. Chris, Michaela?
Casey, and that'll be the key balancing test for them. What leverage they believe they get by exposing inconsistencies versus how they poison the jury by making them feel unfair toward this, ailing grandmother. Thank you very much for the report.
Because he would always make a joke about he don't want to be doing the moonwalk on stage when he's 50 years time when he's over 50. So he wanted to do something else.
Now, there was something very interesting in yesterday's testimony. A propofol expert explained to the jury how the drug really works on the body and what it was likely doing to the superstar. Michael Jackson thought he was sleeping. Propofol made him feel refreshed and rested, but he wasn't. His brain and his body weren't getting real sleep. Ultimately, he was really suffering from severe and chronic sleep deprivation.
Death lawsuit against AEG. The matriarch of the Jackson family testified today that Michael was a hardworking and loving son. It was her effort to refute AEG's claim that the late entertainer desperately sought drugs before his death. KTLA's Rick Chambers live in downtown L.A. with more on Katherine Jackson's testimony. Rick?
Yeah, Micah, you're right. Katherine did take the stand today. We're told she will likely be the final witness in this wrongful death lawsuit against AEG Live. Katherine Jackson told the court that Michael wasn't there to speak for himself, so she was going to speak for him. And she painted a picture of Michael few of us knew.
It's a view into the offstage life of Michael Jackson most of us have never seen. The pop star playing with his young children, just being a dad. The videotape was introduced as evidence during the wrongful death lawsuit against the promoter of Jackson's comeback concert tour, AEG Live. During today's proceedings, a soft-spoken Katherine Jackson, Michael's mother, used still pictures as well when she described her son as one of the best fathers and a very good person. The 83-year-old Jackson told the court that she was aware of some of Michael's medical problems, like back pain and skin discoloration, but not insomnia. And she pointed to AEG Live as the ones who had hired and controlled Dr. Conrad Murray. The Jackson family matriarch also claims that she is the one who contacted AEG and told them that Michael just couldn't handle the rigorous performance schedule AEG wanted. Katherine Jackson says that she had heard about Michael's drug use and even helped with an intervention, that she was financially dependent on Michael, and when she lost him, it was like she lost everything. Ms. Jackson also said that the hardest thing about the multi-billion-dollar lawsuit that she has brought against AEG Live is all the bad things that people are saying about her son.
And back here live downtown, Michael's mom said that she filed the lawsuit so she finally could find out exactly what happened to her son. We're told she'll be back on the stand first thing Monday morning. In downtown L.A., I'm Rick Chambers. Micah, let me throw it back to you.
What do you think, as his mother, caused his death?
I don't know. All I know is they used propofol, and they shouldn't have used it, and they used it in the wrong setting. That's all I know, and that's what causes death.
The civil lawsuit contends AEG Live is responsible for Jackson's death because it hired and supervised Dr. Conrad Murray.
The gist of the plaintiff's claim against AEG is that you controlled Dr. Murray and you used your control over Dr. Murray to pressure him into taking unnecessary and excessive risk with his patient, Michael Jackson, leading to Michael Jackson's death.
AEG Live dismisses this claim and says Jackson chose Murray as his personal doctor, and Jackson, not AEG Live, hired and supervised him.
There never was a contract. In fact, what it says, if you look at the drafts explicitly, is that he was chosen by Michael Jackson. He'd be there at Michael Jackson's behest. He'd be Michael Jackson's doctor alone, that this was only being done because Michael Jackson asked for it. Michael Jackson was the only person who could get rid of him at will.
I thought his children needed it. Mrs. Jackson said she didn't believe her son had a problem with drugs. She recalled going to Neverland for an attempted intervention at the request of some of her children. When they got there, she stated there was nothing wrong with him. The defense played a clip from her earlier deposition where she had recalled more details.
And what did he say that made you think that he was upset?
It's not what he said, it was how he said it. And that's, don't ask me to explain, but he said, I'm not on it, and, that's all.
The defense elicited that the 83-year-old mother never disclosed any information about her son's history with painkillers, with AEG, or with her son's managers. Katherine Jackson accuses AEG tour promoters of hiring and failing to supervise Dr. Conrad Murray. Executives at AEG say they were unaware of Jackson's dependency. The rebuttal from Mrs. Jackson's attorneys, that questions about Mrs. Jackson's recollections were not relevant, that it was all about who hired the doctor. Attorney Brian Panish asked Mrs. Jackson who would know about that, you or the CEO of AEG. Her response, AEG.
So you got this company called AEG, which couldn't give a fuck whether or not he lives or dies. And if I was going to investigate something, I would investigate them.
Mr. Gongaware, I want to direct your attention to the middle of the first page where it says on Sunday, June 14th, 2009 at 4:11 p.m., Paul Gongaware, and then your email address wrote. Do you see that?
Yes.
It says, Frank and I have discussed it already and have requested a face-to-face meeting with the doctor, hopefully Monday. We want to remind him that it is AEG, not MJ, who is paying his salary. We want him to understand what is expected of him. He has been dodging Frank so far. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
Did you write that email?
I don't recall.
Okay, now underneath it, it says Paul G. Is that how you normally sign off on emails?
Some of them, yes.
So you have no recollection of sending this email?
No.
On Saturday, June 20th at 8:47, according to Exhibit 21, which is a document produced in this litigation by AEG, Inc., on Saturday, June 20th at 8:47, 2009, you sent an email to Dan Beckerman stating, trouble with MJ, big trouble, period. What were you referring to? You said, trouble with MJ, big trouble, period. What are you guys up to tonight, period?
I don't remember the specific email.
Okay, I'm not asking about the specific email. Does this email indicate to you that you knew as of June 20th, 2009, there was some trouble going on with Michael Jackson?
We were aware that he had missed several rehearsals.
And you thought he was having a mental breakdown, didn't you?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Then why did you write to Dan Beckerman at 4:15 p.m. that same day, he is having a mental breakdown?
I'm not sure. I'm not referring to Randy.
Oh, really?
I don't know specifically.
Was Mr. Phillips having a mental breakdown?
I don't know what I was referring to specifically, but it could have been to Randy.
And in the same breath, you invited Dan Beckerman to a Beastie Ball honoring Laura Wasserman, correct?
I don't remember the specific email.
To the best of your knowledge.
I don't remember the specific email.
Oh, not even to the best of your knowledge. You just don't remember this one at all.
I don't remember the specific email.
So, if you had to make an estimation, when you said he is having a mental breakdown, is it more likely you were referring to Randy Phillips, or more likely you were referring to Michael Jackson?
I'd be speculating.
Do you know when Dan Beckerman wrote the phrase in his email in the middle of this page, is it, quote, pre-show nerves, end quote, bad, or, quote, get a straitjacket / call our insurance carrier, end quote, bad? Do you know what he was referring to?
I don't remember the specific email.
Wasn't he referring to how bad is Michael? Do we need to call our insurance carrier because the tour is going to be canceled? Is it obvious?
I'm not going to speculate what Dan was thinking or saying.
Mom!